Hello students, today we are going to discuss the text two stories about flying. So the first part is his first flight and the second one is black aeroplane. So before going through the discussion, I would like to say some words on it. Since you are in class 10, you have to understand that whatever texts are there, I mean prose or poems in your syllabus, I think each and every text has two layers of meanings. Right. So if you literally read the text, it is okay, it is very enjoyable. But if you read minutely and if you feel the text, I am deliberately using the word feel. Since you are in class 10, you have to realize the text. You have to understand what the text actually carries the message. So both the stories are about flying. Flying means, if we put the concept of flying in our human lives, that means to make a journey. When we grow up from childhood to adulthood, the different kinds of journey becomes a part of our life. So we start making different journeys. That means struggle for existence. We experience a lot of things in our lives, experiences of failure, experiences of success, experiences of fear, experiences of bravery. So when we are in life, that means till our death we have to go on. Right, I think you can understand what I am trying to say. When we are alive, we have to go on. Either it is failure or success, whatever circumstances are there in our life, we have to go on. So our journey may be interrupted by different kinds of events or happenings. For example, if some of you wants to pursue a career in civil service, IPS or ICS or whatever in administrative posts, so the journey is very tough. It is not that the exam is tough, but the journey is tough. So more or less in our life, the journey is very tough for all of us. We have talent, we have physical strength, we have capability. Whatever we are mediocre or excellent or average, we have to go on. The main mantra in our life is that we have to go on. We have to go on and we have to go on. If we stop in the middle of our journey, so it is not a very good act, because our journey continues throughout our life. So you are in exam, that means you will give exam on 9, 10, 11, 12 and you will finish your school life, then you will enter to your college life. But Actually, exam continues throughout our life. Exam continues. So, in this text also, uh, the young bird who is very afraid to fly. So, how it overcomes his fear, how it overcome its fear. So, we will come to know about this text. So, the story is an account of a young bird that is afraid to fly for the first time. He believes that his wings would not support him, despite his younger siblings who are flying fearlessly with much shorter wings. He could not gather the courage to do the same. So, first point, courage. He was punished to stay hungry if he did not try. Thus, it was his mother that compelled, that means that forced him to fly by using food as a trap. The lesson reflects how one hesitates to take the first step, and that fear is all in the mind. One should trust one's abilities because the fear of suffering is worse than the suffering itself. So, various points, various but important points are there. That means courage. So, courage is important for all, and in order to achieve something great in your life, you must have courage. And the second point is hesitation. If you hesitate to do even a small task, it is not good for you. Whatever task you are performing, be it very small or be it very big, you have to perform it. Okay. So, the story is about a young seagull who is afraid to fly. All his younger siblings, with much shorter wings, flew fearlessly while he could not gather the courage to trust his own wings. So, the main point is that you have to trust on your capabilities. The young seagull became sad when he saw his parents perfecting his younger siblings in the art of flying. So, there will be some training, there will be some kind of what should I say, there will be some kind of training or there will be some kind of guidance, but you have to carry out your duty, or you have to perform on the basis of your courage and confidence. So his parents scolded and taunted him for not even trying. So his parents scold him. Why? Because the young seagull is not trying a bit. They even call him a coward. They tell him a lot to at least try, and also threaten him to leave him alone and hungry if he does not. So the main thing is that you have to try. You have to try. Whether there is failures or success, you have to try whatever work you are going to undertake. The following day he is left in isolation, that means he is left alone, and upon feeling hungry he tries to seek the attention of his family members. Only his mother, who is withering a fish in an attempt to consume it, notices his son. The young seagull cries out of starvation, hoping his mother would help. On seeing his mother come to him with the fish, he gets excited, but on noticing that his mother stopped midway, he gets maddened out of hunger and takes a dive at the fish, forgetting for a moment that he is afraid to fly. Finally, he took his first flight. So, all the family members celebrate his victory by cheering and dancing around him. He also attempts at floating in the sea that he was once afraid of it. So, in this way, he overcomes his fear and realizes that it is all in the mind. So, in a simple language, I would like to explain it. That is, the young bird was afraid to fly, but he was advised to at least give a try to fly. But still, the bird was hesitated to fly. Why? Because he might fall any time. But you know that in order to survive in this world, you have to struggle little by little, either today or tomorrow. You have to struggle. If there is no struggle in your life, you will not succeed. So there will be no food on your platter. So in order to earn money, in order to earn livelihood, in order to have food on your platter, we all have to work. So his mother also told told his son that if you don't fly, there will be no food for you. So the bird tried to gain the attention because he was hungry. So his mother noticed this and she tried to help him, but she stops in the midway. So everyone just tried to encourage him that come on, just have a try. So all in a sudden, the bird at least made a leap. That means the bird made a jump. So at last, when he made a jump, he almost forgot his fear, his hesitation. So you have to keep in mind that whenever there is a hesitation, it is everything in your mind. Just give a try. So this story is very much interesting, and what you learn from this story. So the basic point is what you have learned from this story. That means in this world where there are different kinds of people will say a lot of things to you, that you are very lazy, you are not fit for this kind of work, you are not a suitable person to do this job. So you cannot stop people's mouth, but you can stop from hesitating. Have you understood what I am trying to say? That you cannot stop the people surrounding you, because many people do not know you personally. Many people do not know who the person you are. So it is only you who knows yourself properly. So it is actually you who can do this work. So the hesitation, feeling of fear that I can't do it, is everything in your mind. So shedding all the hesitation and having confidence on yourself, on your capability, you have to start working. So that's why I told you earlier, I told you that life is a journey. So life is not a bed of roses, it's full of thorns. So on your first attempt you will have lots of difficulties, lots of problems. People will blame you, people will say you bad words, slangs, that you are not good at this kind of job, you are not fit for this job. But if you know what kind of job you are going to do, if you have the dedication, if you have the confidence on your work, and if you know your job very well, you can play the role very well also. So this basic philosophy of life is also applied to the next part. Okay, so the second story is Black Aeroplane. So like the first part, in this part also we are going to experience something which is very unusual. So let's come to the basic points. So the author says that he was flying an aeroplane at 1 o'clock at night. The moon was coming up in the east behind him. Stars were shining in the clear sky above him. He was flying his old Dakota aeroplane over France back to England. He was dreaming of his holiday, and he was also looking forward to be with his family at the breakfast table. So he decided to call Paris Control. He then radioed to it, and he also told that he was on his way back to England. So Paris Control duly acknowledged it, and it advised him to turn 12 degrees west. So the pilot duly turned to that direction. Everything was going well. Paris was about 150 kilometers behind him. Then he saw the storm clouds. So the actual turning point of the story begins from this part. They looked like black mountains in front of him. So I think those who board on aeroplane have the experience of the sky, or how the sky looks from the plane, from the window of the plane. Okay, so the clouds looked like black mountains in front of him. He knew that he could not fly up and over them. He didn't know for a moment what to do. So here also, for the pilot, he experienced a kind of fear, a fear of uncertainty, a fear of death. He decided to go back to Paris, but he also wanted to get home. So he took the risk and flew into the storm. He could see nothing outside his aeroplane. Everything was black. The old aeroplane jumped and twisted in the air. He looked at the compass. It was gone. You know that there was some technical problems. He tried to contact Paris Control, but he couldn't contact it too. He was lost in the storm. So a very fearful, very traumatic situation for the pilot. Okay, so what happened next? Then in the black clouds he saw another aeroplane. It had no lights on its wings. He could see it flying next to him in the storm. He was glad to see another person. He was saying to follow him. The author thought that he was trying to help him, so he followed him. He flew for half an hour. He had failed only to last for 5 or 10 minutes. He began to feel frightened, so he started to go down. Suddenly, he saw that he was on the runway. He looked for his friend in the black aeroplane. He wanted to thank him, but the sky was empty. He went into the control tower. He asked a woman where he was. She looked at him strangely and then she laughed. She told that there was no other aeroplane except his. The author was awestruck to hear it. He wondered who had helped him to arrive there. He was without a compass or a radio. He did not have enough fuel also in his tanks. Who was the pilot on the strange black aeroplane flying in the storm without lights? So, what happened actually? The pilot wanted to go down, but the barrier was stormy cloud. Since there was no clue as what he would do at that time, he had to pass through the black cloud. So the entire situation made him very a coward person. So she felt so he felt very nervous actually. So in the meantime, while driving or while flying through the cloud, he noticed that there was another aeroplane, and the person in the aeroplane was giving some instructions so that he can land safely. So after a certain time, he landed safely, and he wanted to thank that person. So he asked the woman who was in the control room who that person was, and the reply was very strange, that there was no another aeroplane, it was only his plane. So what you understood from this part, that when there are difficult times, when you are clueless, so if you think very clearly, your inner self will give you some signals that do it or do that, or don't do it or don't do that. So the same thing happens for this pilot only. So if I stop the story here saying that no, it's a ghost story, so you can tell it a ghost story, it's a spirit. But if we study the text from different angles, you can realize that it was his another self that helped him to land safely. So during extreme difficult times, during extreme difficult period, there will be some conscience, there will be some inner voice which will help you to come out from dangerous or troublesome conditions. So in both the stories, you can realize that life is full of thorns. If life was easy, there will be no fun, there will be no what should I say, there if life is so easy, there will be no different kinds of activities, there will be no different kinds of experiences. So here also you have to understand, you have to realize that the pilot didn't stop from flying, he just continued what he had to do. Actually, the problem is that the fear of death and the fear of uncertainty are very great. Mostly the fear of uncertainty, because we always feel afraid of what is uncertain in our life. Tomorrow we don't know what is going to happen, so you have to live in the present time only. Tomorrow we can die anytime. For example, if any kind of chunk from the planet, if any chunk of another planet crashes to earth, there may be a explosion, so we all may die tomorrow. But on fear of uncertain death or on fear of this uncertain event, we cannot stop our present activities. So both the seagull, the bird, and the pilot had to continue their role. They had to do what they actually should do. There was no stopping. You cannot stop. You may take a rest, but you cannot stop. So you have to continue your work with confidence, courage, and capability. Mind these three particular terms: courage, confidence, and capability. When you are going to write any answers of this text, just mind these three words: courage, capability, and confidence. So without these three weapons, without these three positive weapons, you cannot succeed in your life. Success and failure is a part of your life. So the main thing is that you have to go on, you have to continue in your journey. So I think you have understood this text. At least I think I have been capable to make you understand this text. So go through the summary at first, then read the text minutely. So always keep in mind what you learn from this text. Thank you.